A group of demonstrators in Beaumont urged Congress to make sure the Voting Rights Act continues to guide elections in Texas. The House and Senate are holding hearings this week to deal with the impact of a Supreme Court decision that struck down a key section of the act. Unless Congress steps in, the Justice Department would not have to pre-clear elections in Texas, including the Beaumont School Board vote in November. Reporter Leslie Rangel examines the arguments of demonstrators and others who say the government does not need to step in to the election process.
We've got to stand up. We've got to go to the polls. We've got to vote.
This member of the NAACP joined Beaumont School Board members, church leaders, and dozens of others at a rally outside the Jefferson County Courthouse.
We have not overcome to the point to where people think that everyone is treated fairly, regardless of race. And so I think that we have to look at asking our Congress to put in place a Uniform Voting Rights Act and that everyone's voting rights are protected.
They oppose a Supreme Court ruling that strikes down a portion of the Voting Rights Act.
And we've got to refuse to let them take our vote away from us.
Unless Congress steps in, the ruling means Texas and several other states won't have to get federal approval for changes in voting plans. That could allow a Beaumont court ruling to stand that keeps 3 incumbents off the November ballot because they didn't think they had to file for an election this soon.
The people voted for 4 of us and a term to be up in 2015. I have that right to fill out my term. Now, but courts want to decide for the people of Beaumont who they want to put in there. I think that's wrong.
Critics of the Supreme Court decision believe it will dilute minority voting strength and allow whites to unseat the African-American majority on the board.
If you look at the incumbents that they're trying to remove from office, they are all black. And that's why you saw all blacks out here today, except for those that are here to hear what the other side has to say. And so I don't think that it's about race. I know that it is.
Yeah, there is a mean set of people. Not all white people are bad. Not all black people are bad. And let's face it, it's about racism.
Rally supporters held signs like these saying their vote must count, but those in opposition say it's not about voting rights, but a decision of the state.
Shortly after the Supreme Court ruling, state leaders announced redistricting maps in Texas would no longer need federal approval.
They're continuing to push the point that the people who got voted in 2 years ago when I was voted in have had their terms cut short, but it's not by anything that we've done. That's what the state said.
Board member Mike Neal says he didn't come here to join the demonstration, but to better understand the opposing viewpoints.
If someone were to come and just remove me from my seat, no, that's not fair. But when the election code calls for another election, it's not removing anyone.
The impact of a court decision on that election, on the candidates these people can vote for, may not become clear until November.
But vote every time. Run, walk, or crawl.
In Beaumont, Leslie Rangel, KFDM 6 News.
Attorney Michael Getz represents several people who are running in the November election. He says the district has until Friday to respond to a 9th Court of Appeals ruling that could prevent 3 incumbents from running.